we're going to get to 18 games eventually. Not eventually, probably next season. And obviously, we talk about the second bye week and whatnot, and basically NFL owners are happening, more revenue. I think Robert Kraft said this is cool if everybody else gets to play international game. He's pointing the finger at the Cowboys
Yeah.
and Jerry Jones, but Jerry Jones is saying, fuck off. I'm not done.
Right.
Neither are the because I think the Cowboys are one of the only teams that don't do international games. Is there anybody else?
So think about it. I don't think the Panthers do it sometimes. Let me think. So if I'm thinking about it, it's like
You-
Patriots. They do.
Patriots do it. They play overseas. I'm trying to think. Just think about all like the teams with like strong owners. Like
I was about to say
basically,
I would have to think the East. I think Washington doesn't do it.
they went actually last season. Remember they
That's
just
just
didn't went to London. They went to Brazil or some
right.
other South America or Central
So
American country.
I mean, I think every team, just thinking
I
about
think,
it, every
yeah, I think
team
every team does it
probably
but Dallas.
outside of Dallas.
Dallas, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that obviously, if you know, which I don't, if you know, that's who Robert Kraft is pointing the finger to because he said, well, this team's the only one that doesn't do international games, and they already know it's a disadvantage with such and such. Now, I think they still won't get Dallas to do international games, to be honest with you.
Mm-mm.
No.
As long as Jerry Jones is there, I don't think it's gonna happen.
Then I think whoever, even if Jerry goes, I really do feel like his children, whoever else is part of the Dallas organization, I think they're really strong on that. They're like, we ain't doing the international game. We not. Maybe one day, but trust me, it's going to be once every blue moon. But
Mhm.
man, what I wanted to ask you guys, I know Roll, I know your teeth is hurt, but I wanted to ask, but if you feel emotionally, like I said, if you feel emotionally invested, you could try to get out what you can about it. But I wanted to ask you guys, man, 18 game schedule. We already know it's apparent, right? All right, we already know with the 17 game schedule, you're really kind of pushing towards the fact that you kind of need like a very strong roster. It seems like the fact that the NFL does have to make more roster considerations, man, because we're talking about most players can't make it throughout the full season. A 17 game season, it's kind of hard, but 18 games, I know for sure. All right, we already know we're gonna get a second bye weekend. We're gonna eliminate one more preseason game, man. But my thing, what I ask you all the guys about this, the fact that everybody's quarterback room, man. I think the notion that I don't like about NFL fans, D and Roll, is just that the fact that they get a little bit too damn nose turned up at studio when it comes to like quarterbacks, like the backup quarterback situation. I don't want this guy on my roster. Well, he's this and that, and I don't even want him to see play football. That's shit. I don't like that because it's getting to the point that we're 18 game seasons. Yeah, we need a solid quarterback room. I'm talking about from the third end too. So my so that's my question for y'all guys, man. What does roster construction look like with an 18 game season, man? Because I'm thinking the fact that one, we gotta increase like the roster size when it comes to traveling for games. All
Mhm.
right.
Mhm.
Two, quarterback situation. All right. Your league's only going to get younger, but it really does seem like the guys like Teddy and once Derek Carr comes back and Baker Mayfield, they're going to be in the league for a long time. Because I want to say, I want to say really Teddy and Derek Carr's draft class was kind of like one of the last ones where you could say that they came into the league somewhat pro ready or really pro ready because of their offenses that they ran. But mostly, if you want to talk about that draft class, mostly Teddy and Carr because they had, they didn't do clap offenses when they were in college. Or if they did, it was still somewhat simulated that they had two calls going in the huddle. That's for Derek Carr when he was at Fresno State. Um, Quarterback consideration, and then other positions too, man. How does roster construction look like in the 18 game season, man? Because my thing is the fact that I caught a Cowboys fans the other day. They were talking about the quarterbacks in this draft class, right? And then, uh, they got the Jalen Daniels. Shout out to Vash Lambar. They got the Jalen Daniels. Vash ain't a fan of Jalen Daniels. That's cool. Vash wasn't really a fan of Malik Willis at one point, which was cool too. But now that's what the Cowboy fans going to be like. Yeah, what is Malik? Because I'm like, hey, Malik Willis play. Hey, because I said that. I said, hey, Vash didn't really like Malik Willis too much when he was coming out. And he's like, what have Malik Willis done? I'm like, okay, that's fair to say, but the man played good football. And that's what you need, especially with certain teams. And then he was like, oh, well, basically, if you aren't top quarterback, you don't matter. And you know what I told him? That's why y'all don't. That's why y'all haven't won the damn Super Bowl in a decade. And that no, I said that's why the Eagles have won Super Bowls in the past decade because of that. Because they don't follow that stupid ass thinking. Because if it was Nick Foles on y'all roster, y'all would have probably complained. Who ended up winning the Super Bowl? Y'all don't like Jalen Hurts, man. He ain't that good of a quarterback. Super Bowl in. So
And they
that's my
still talk and they still talk bad about Jalen Hurts to this day. The Eagles talking about not even really extending him right now
which
until
is
like
true.
he gets better play. But
That's
yeah,
fair.
in that I'm just saying in that logic, bro. Like if we, I'm a Cowboys fan. Just not to change the subject. I'm a Cowboys fan, but to say that and be like you have to be a top quarterback. Not saying Dak isn't, but like Dak hasn't
Yeah.
done
It's like
anything.
we're yeah. We're just trying to say, like, hey, maybe the top quarterback by itself is just not the answer to winning the Super Bowl because it seems like the Eagles have done it twice. And then, especially with a quarterback y'all would turn y'all nose to with Nick Foles. Ended up having a nice 2 game stretch, all the way from that Minnesota game where he dominated our team and the Vikings game in 2017, and then played good football in the Super Bowl. Sometimes you just need a quarterback to back a quarterback to play 5 to 6 games, man. It's like y'all forget that this is still a team sport.
Right. Now,
And
what
there's
I
no
think,
perfect way. Go ahead, sorry, D.
what I was saying was, what I think about it is like they're going like, and this is kind of answering your question without answering your question, right?
Mm-hmm.
In the sense, like you should probably have. What I was just thinking in my mind, you should have over 60 players on your team at least. If you're
Yeah.
talking 18 season, if you're talking 18 games,
Yeah, I think that
because
active too. I'm not talking about practice
yeah,
squad. I think we need
I'm
to have
talking
60.
active.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, straight up. Because the thing is, it's like, bro, we seen it, bro, and no disrespect, but we seen it this year.
Mm-hmm.
With Lamar Jackson. I'm just gonna talk as a Raven fan. I was gonna say Joe Burrow, but
Yep.
I'm gonna talk as a Raven fan.
Yep.
We seen this with Lamar Jackson, right?
Good example. Because
In a 17 game season, missed I think 4 games this year,
mm-hmm.
3 or 4 games this year, and yeah, 4 games, and was struggling after that. Right, was struggling kind of heavily after the injury. Um, Huntley and Cooper Rush. It took Cooper Rush 2 games for Huntley to start after the fact, right?
And you had to bring him back. That's
Yeah,
my thing
we
too.
had to.
And that's what I'm saying too. It's just like that's where you got to talk to GMs. I'm like, bro, this dude is already a proven quarterback that's familiar with our system. All right, can basically somewhat simulate what Lamar does on offense. Why don't we just let him walk? Especially if we're talking about that the season's getting longer. I already got a proven quarterback. He needs to be on this team. Like, yeah, no, man, it's gonna have to get it's gonna have to get to the point where teams have to start treating things their roster. My bad, D. I don't want to instruct. I don't want to take away from your point, but I just want to make this point. It's gonna have to get to the fact that roster construction for your team is gonna have to look like somewhat of the 70s. Now I get it. The fact that the free agent market in the 70s wasn't as like free as this and whatnot, but I'm talking about you want to keep a consistent core, and that includes the backups too. Like in your franchise for a good minute, especially if you got a Super Bowl window. For a situation like D just said with Tyler Huntley, just coming in to basically win them 2 games, and that was enough for them to get a playoff push where they had to fight the Steelers at least on the last game second. But what happens if they brought Tyler Huntley earlier? They might have just won one of them damn Steelers games. Never know. But it's just like that. We gotta get into these GM heads. Like, hey, we got a Tyler Huntley on the roster for backup. Don't let him walk.
Right.
Like, let's just
And
be reasonable.
right. And one thing I was thinking, I'm just thinking about too is like what they should do is if you already made the playoffs, bro, like if you're 12 games in and you already in playoff contention, I feel like the next 6 games, start your backups. Like start your backup, like kind of have your backups playing in the first, in the second half of the game. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And let them get more reps because
And I
when
think they're
they
doing
come
that. I think they're doing it, and they're starting to do it now. And
right,
then, of course,
because
go ahead. Sorry.
no, I'm saying right because the thing is like, bro, them players can't handle 18 games of getting hit hard and getting sacked and
Damn.
linemen getting chip blocked about their knees. Like they can't handle that. So I just think it makes sense if you have four QBs in your team. Realistically
Four
speaking,
four halfbacks too.
yeah, four halfbacks. Realistically speaking, if Cleveland would be ready in that sense when it came up to,
Yep.
with being 18 games,
Yep.
because they have four different QBs. But I think honestly, just speaking on it, like it just doesn't feel right when everything is just kind of going to just try to again get more money off of players and they play and how they playing and not considering the fact that they're human too and just having to go against the freaking hard hitters and freaking
Yep.
ball hawks and all that. I just don't think that it's smart to just run a 53-man roster out
In
there
the
with 18 game
18
season.
games
I just
season.
don't think so.
I agree with you too.